Ladies and gentlemen,
The moment you've been waiting for.
the grand finale, the thing that you've wanted.
The thing.
All singletons, triplet parents, quad parents, twins have wanted. We're back. We are back. It has been a very long week. It's been a very long week. Our last episode. Basically, what happens is you say, "Wow, I'm very exhausted tonight. Let's do the podcast later. Let's do it tomorrow."
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, it goes from October of 2020 to March of 2021.
And here we are.
And you're like, whoa. But
Wow.
the one thing I will say is we got legit letters.
We did. We're gonna hold them up.
We got letters from fans. We also did get comments and messages of people saying, "Oh, you got to do the podcast again.
Yeah.
And you got to do all this stuff." And we're like, "Yeah, I know, we got to do it." And then like by the time we put all the kids to bed at night, we'd be like, "We're gonna do it tomorrow," and then we just wouldn't do it.
We were shocked that people like actually listened.
Yeah,
that
was a very surprising thing. We had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, we loved doing it.
We just kept kind of pushing it off, thinking, well, no one really cares anyway. We can kind of get away with it. No, we had dedicated fans, letters of stuff.
This is like four pages of like handwritten please watch the YouTube just to see like how. Yeah. We literally can't even say the excuse like, we just couldn't think of any more topics. There's topics in these letters. Yeah.
And they're so great, they're so wonderful that we are actually making not one, not two, but 3 episodes just from these glorious letters. That's
3 babies, 3 episodes.
3 episodes. Look at that.
I mean, come on.
It's like they gave us 3 more children. Why not? Why not? Just throw them in. It's great. This is just an extra scoop of mac and cheese. So, you know what? I'm sick of talking about this stuff. Let's just jump in to these questions that they got from these letters right now.
Here we go. All right. So this is part 1 of We Just Got a Letter. Technically, we just got a letter on October 22nd. My super great high school friend, Stacy, who's very detail-oriented, dates things, which is very helpful for right now. But, when she wrote this letter to us, it was kind of right during our last episode that we had released. So she mentions how, I think in a couple episodes before it, I talk about how I really like getting mail. So she wrote me mail, very cute, and kind of like went around and asked some of our close friends and some other people in her family and some of her close friends, like if they had any topics or things that they wanted us to talk about on our podcast, which is like so sweet. So we really wanted to dedicate episodes to that because, I mean, it's like great. It's exactly, what Vince and I started this podcast for. We started it to, answer questions that people want to know about triplets. So it's just like all around great. Yeah. The letter itself is just so cute, like this little intro 2-page thing. I still am in awe that she takes the time to do this stuff. But part 1, we are going to answer 5 out of the 10 questions for triplet parents. So part 1 will be the first 5. Part 2 will be the second 5. And then we have a bonus question for the third part. So the first question says, how often do the triplets poop simultaneously? Now, this is something that I thought a lot about before they were born. I thought, you're feeding 3 kids at the same time. They're probably all going to poop at the same time. So that'll be easy. Like diaper changes will be great. Like I'll just feed them in one end. I'll wipe it out the other end. Like that's fine. It's not really how it works. Obviously, when they wake up in the morning, their diaper's filled. You have to obviously change that. But, I mean, throughout the day, they actually are like us, like humans have poop schedules. I think they kind of have these little toddler poop schedules. I kind of know, like, my son always poops literally at, like, 7:30 in the morning, like, always. And then my 2 girls are more, like, later in the day. I think when they were younger, they probably simultaneously pooped a lot. I feel like most of my day is wiping poop off of something or someone. So it kind of feels simultaneous to me, but even though it's not, if that answers your question. And then I'm going to say these names. I should have said the name first, but that question comes from Noel. So thank you for the question. Second question, do you have any money-saving hacks with 3 babies at once? All right, so money-saving hacks. I mean, I had kind of mentioned in a previous episode that I like to buy and sell things on Facebook Marketplace for the kids, that it feels kind of like a great thing to do because kids don't use things very long. They grow out of things quickly, especially with like shoes and, seasonal things. So it just really makes sense to take advantage of people that are selling things that are slightly used. And you don't feel so like, oh, I have all this baby stuff around. I'd rather, give it to somebody that will continue to use it because a lot of times, it's in like perfect condition. So I would say Facebook Marketplace was is still like a huge thing that I really take advantage of. Money saving hacks. I'm trying to think of more. I guess you could really do research on diapers. I know a lot of brands of diapers vary. I mean, a lot are really expensive, a lot are really cheap, but they leak. So doing kind of your research on diapers and taking advantage of, the quality versus price thing is kind of important. So I think money saving hack there. Another money saving hack with diapers is to have a diaper party and also do a diaper raffle at your shower. We are now, as of today, which is March, we are finally running out of our diapers from our diaper party and diaper raffle. So if Triplets, if we can literally stretch and literally not buy diapers for that long, I can't even imagine how much you would save, with one child. So that's a big one there. And then this person had 2 questions. So the second one is, how do you balance 3 babies if they all want to be held at once? So this was actually something I was fearful of while I was pregnant with 3. I actually had fears that my kids wouldn't know who I was because I knew that we needed a lot of help. I knew that we were going to need, family, friends assisting. I started having these weird panicky feelings that, my kids are going to be around other people so much that they're literally not even going to know who I am. And it's such a silly thing to think about right now because they obviously will always know their parents, their mother and father. Like they will always know that you have a completely different bond. So when they were really, really small, we had a lot of help with family. And I think that, a lot of people that have triplets, I notice online or different things there, do it at, husband and wife, and they're just like kicking butt, and it is incredible. That really helped me handle when they all need to be held because they all could be held. But if there is a situation where they're all crying and they all need to be held, and it is crazy, and it still does happen to this day. Now they're, our last podcast, they weren't quite a year old yet. So now they're 16 months, 16 months old. So they're all walking and they're kind of talking. So it is kind of a different world there, but it's still hard. It still really hurts. If I'm holding one and the other 2 want to be held, it has to be a situation where I tell myself, listen, I have to balance my time. If one of them needs me more, I'll have to put one down to pick the other one up. It has to be a balancing thing. I'm really great at holding 2 at once now. I can kind of do 3, but not really anymore. When they were really small, it was a little easier, but it definitely has to be a give and take. It has to be which baby needs me more at the moment. And it has to be I have to toughen up about it. Because it hurts. I feel like it hurts me more emotionally that my kids want me to hold them and I can't. I mean, I feel like that would hurt anybody, but yeah, it's something that I still struggle with, but they're getting a lot better as they get older. So those two last questions were from Stacy with an I. Okay, question 4. How do you manage to get a perfect picture of all of the triplets on the Milestone blanket each month, or any picture in general? So, Milestone blanket pictures were crazy. We're actually done with them now. So they're past a year old. The Milestone counter only went up to a year. I feel like my husband and my mom are really happy about that because, you know, when it was that day each month, I had all the pictures had to be taken, and it was like so stressful trying to get 3 kids dressed really cute, put them on the blanket, have them stay there, you know, make sure there's a good picture. So I'm a graphic designer I went to school for it. I still love to do it in my spare time when I get spare time. I take a ton of pictures of the kids when they're laying on the blankets, and there's a lot, probably 98% of them are crazy, like blurry, or they're crying or whatever. But I always keep all the pictures, and I go through, and if I really think I can Photoshop something together, sometimes I will Photoshop it together. It will always be my child. Sometimes I will take the face of a child in a different picture that they're smiling, where let's say 2 of the kids are smiling and 1 is not. I'll find a picture where the other kid is smiling, and I will Photoshop it together. Sometimes I don't have to, but we have to remember there are 3 kids, and just trying to get any of them to look at the camera is a miracle. So yeah, I will take advantage of my college degree, and I'm going to Photoshop them when the time is needed. I will do that. But a lot of times we know what kind of sounds make them laugh. We can kind of make silly noises. Like my mom will be in the background doing some kind of weird thing, and they'll all laugh. Because as much as I can Photoshop an image, I really don't like to. I really like to capture what it is if I can, but it's 3 kids too. We need to remember. So I will do what's needed. And that question was from Julie. Okay, this is the last one. So question 5, do you have things all figured out now, or what types of advice do you still rely on from your parents or family for? So this is such a difficult question to, I feel like, answer quickly. I don't know if you ever have everything figured out. I think I feel like, yeah, I have it figured out today. And then things change with kids almost like hourly. You think you have it going, and you're like, man, like, heck yeah, I'm cruising through. I'm like killing it as a parent. And then something will happen, and it'll just change every single thing you thought was great, and you feel like a complete failure. And it's an emotional roller coaster being a parent, I would have to say. No, I don't think we have it figured out now. I still rely on the advice from my parents, from anybody with kids, from other triplet moms. I seek out advice from people. I really admire. I will take your advice to heart. I'm not a person that will overlook someone's advice. I'll always think about it, and obviously everybody's different, so you have to consider your situation. But yeah, I think in terms of having everything figured out, I think it's kind of tough to really pinpoint how, figured out. I don't know. It's like we got through a year of triplets. It's like, yeah, we got that figured out. It's like, but there's a lot of things. It's like, oh, I wish I would have did this differently. I wish I would have did that differently. And then too, it's like, if you look into the future, baby products change, parenting, regulations change. So it's such a tough question. I guess it could go a lot of different ways. So an answer, I would say no. That would be my all around answer. But I don't have all things figured out, but I feel like I'm working on it. And anytime I figure things out, I like to share it with people. And when I don't have it figured out, I'm going to seek it out and learn from it. Because you are, I mean, as parents, you fail more than you think you will. I mean, your kids don't know, but you feel it. So, no. Short answer to that would be no. So that is my 5 questions. I still have a couple minutes left. I did a good job. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. Yeah, I guess going back to this like intro letter, which my really good friend Stacy put together all of this for us. I'm gonna drop her name again because once again it's just so sweet. You know, I really want to thank her for pushing us back to doing these episodes. It'd be Stacy and Joanna, my 2 really good friends from high school. I hate saying from high school because they've been my friends now. We've been out of high school for so long, but I guess it's when we were friends, so it's fine. But I want to thank them for pushing us to do this because we've been wanting to do it for so long. And everybody knows when you push something off for a long time, it's so hard to get back in the swing. And yeah, I just want to do one last shout out to them because thanks. And stay tuned for part 2 coming soon. And here's Vince.
Welcome back. It's your favorite part. It's the husband's part. Am I right, fellas? So, now I'm going to answer the 5 questions that were given from these letters. We just got a letter. If you know it, you're in the right age. I don't know. Okay, so this one is from Noelle, and she asks, how often do the triplets poop simultaneously? And also, can you change 2 diapers at once? So, I wish I could think of something funny about this, because it is a funny premise, right? You got 3 babies, they all poop at the same time, right? But it's basically like this. Here's just a general thing. Let's just say that happens, right? All of them are in perfect sync. They look at each other and they're like 3, 2, 1, blast off, and they just go everywhere. Basically, what's happening is if I'm working, Lauren's kind of deal with one-on-one, but if I'm not working, I'm there with Lauren. It's basically like, okay, I'm gonna change one, then you change one, and then there's that third one who's most likely Charlotte because she's a precious angel who doesn't scream and get too crazy all the time. She's going to sit in that stench until Sophia and Vincent are changed, and then one of us will take care of Charlotte. So how often do they poop simultaneously? Not too much. We do notice a pattern with each of them of when, like, okay, most likely Vince is he's gonna have the morning duties. Charlotte's gonna be more towards the nighttime, which can get super sketchy around bath time. She's usually, unfortunately, last in bath. It's like, oh, you feel a little bad because it's not as warm and not as fresh, but every once in a while she decides to just explode in there. She feels very comfortable, and she's just gonna do her thing. And that's a lot of cleanup. So we try to limit that to last. So hopefully that answers that question. Can you change 2 diapers at once? I can't, although I do believe that I am an expert in changing diapers. I believe I probably changed more diapers than my father did, his father, and pretty much all the way up to the Stone Age times when they were using stone diapers, because I just been changing a lot of diapers. I have it down to a science, boom, 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 but I have yet to be able to do the, ambidextrous change 2 diapers at once with one hand. Why? Because the second you take off the diaper and there's a lot of, nasty stuff in there, the first thing they want to do is they want to take their hands and they just want to mush it right in there. So you got to hold off their hands. You got to block that. You got to get it clean, get it done, and swap it all up. So you got 2 hands just focusing on that. You're just doing that battle and struggle. So if you got 2 of them, they're just going to be put in their hands, and anything that goes on the hands has to go immediately in the mouth. So don't want to get too gross, but just saying you don't want to do 2 at a time with just one person. So thank you, Noelle, for the first question. Very gross, but I love it. Number 2, and this is from Stacy with an I, so she's a lot of fun. Do you have any money savings hacks with 3 babies at once? Yes, we're going to get into this. I actually really like this question. When I first read it, I was like, yep, we're going to do this. It's going to get a little long, folks, so, buckle up the old seatbelt, all right? I'm about to Dave Ramsey this thing. Okay, so money saving hacks. First one. If you are pregnant with triplets or twins or singletons, I don't care. And you're like, oh, we should do a baby shower, and hopefully things will get better and it can be a little more safer and you can do things like that. Do a diaper raffle, okay? You do the diaper raffle and the winner gets a little box of who cares? Because you're going to get diapers. Then you're also going to get a gift. Bonus, right? Getting a lot of diapers. Then you're going to go to your husband and you're going to say, listen, you're going to do a diaper party. And he's going to say, what's a diaper party? And say, it's a bachelor party, but the guys come in, they bring diapers. You get a bunch of diapers, and then you guys all get to get drunk and eat meat and do what men do best. And he's going to say, wow, this is fantastic. We should have a diaper party every weekend. And she's like, maybe, we'll see. So you're going to get a ton of diapers. Now, you're going to say, okay, Vince, I got all these diapers. You got to get different sizes, variations. So then what you do is you pick a store that's really good with returning and exchanging diapers. For me, it was Target. So with Target, you can use the Target app. And what I would do is I would go through, okay, let's say they're on size 2 diapers. They're on size 2 diapers. I collect all the 2 diapers and I scan them with the Target app. And if any pop up on Target, that means that you can return them at Target. Okay? Then what you do is you get a Target registry. You add those diapers to the registry. Okay? And you don't use them unless you absolutely have to use those. So I have the Target section. I separate them. Okay? And I use up these other diapers that I can't return at Target. And if I got to use the ones at Target, it's fine. But 9 times out of 10, I'd have like 3 or 4 boxes left. So I take those 3 or 4 boxes. After it's done, oh, they're on 3s now. I take those to Target. I return them. They give me a gift card. I take the gift card. I buy alcohol. No. I then go and I buy the next step up of these diapers. It's the same amount, roughly, You buy the same amount of diapers for level 3 now, and then you do the same process again. And I will say today, so today is March of 2021. Okay, my kids were born November of 2019. We have officially just stopped enough diapers. Like we've just stopped using all of our free diapers, our diapers from the diaper party as well as the the baby shower. We've just finished up using those diapers. So that's at least a good 16 months. My math could be a little wrong on there, but dang, 16 months of free diapers. And the big thing is, it's that returning, right? So you the ones that you can return, you hold on to those. Because odds are your kids aren't going to go through all those diapers. So then you go and exchange them, right? Big money saving hack. Big money saving hack. I recommend it. I will tell it to everybody except Target, because Target will, I don't know, maybe they'll give me a coupon or something. I don't know what it is, but try it. I think I've even heard that Walmart does a really good job of like you can exchange diapers. They just don't want you to bring out so many at once or something. I'm not fully sure on it, but they do. I heard that they have a great policy too, but I just found it easier to just scan it and go, yeah, it was on my registry. Okay, yep, it's on the registry. They return it, you get the gift card, then you just get the next step up because you're still buying from Target. I'm still paying diapers for them, so it all works out. I feel like my vest is very loud, by the way, so if it is loud, I apologize. Money saving hack number 2. I'm only going to give you guys 2 for right now. Get a little taste. Maybe we should do a big old episode on this, but money saving hack number 2 I recommend is Facebook Marketplace. Okay, now keep in mind, I'm not sponsored by Target or Facebook. It's just what we use. I don't know what to tell you. Find something better. But with Facebook Marketplace, the one thing that my wife and I have done is we will look for kids' clothes there. Now, you may have family who have already had kids, and they say, hey, you can borrow our clothes, you can take our clothes, and that's fantastic. Because here's the reality is, folks, if you don't have any kids, your kid's going to look adorable in anything. So keep that in mind. They're going to look adorable. You put a bag over them, they're going to look adorable, okay? You put them in a slightly used piece of clothing, they're going to look adorable in it, all right? Here's number 2. Little kids, little babies, infants, toddlers, they grow so fast that you will end up having clothes that still have the tags on them that they've already outgrown, okay? So why spend a ton of money on brand new clothes if you can get used clothes through friends and family or through Facebook Marketplace? At Facebook Marketplace, there's all these moms, they have all of these clothes that their kids can no longer wear anymore because they're 18 months or they're 19 months and they have all these 12-month clothes and you can't really sell them, but you can sell them on Marketplace. Well, people aren't going to pay full top dollar for these. We would find people were giving away 20, 30, 50 pieces of clothing for less than $20. Or you can go buy one shirt for $15 at a store. I mean, come on. You get all these clothes. You can go through, figure out which ones you like, which ones you don't. If some got stains on them, yeah, you're not going to use those. But for the most part, kids, like, as my mom used to say, they're not working in the coal mines, okay? They're not working in the coal mines. They're not going to get these things super dirty and destroyed. They're little babies. Maybe they'll spit up on something, but that's about it, right? Easy cleaning. So you will save a ton of money if you get used clothing, whether it's through Facebook Marketplace or through friends and family. And I highly recommend it because they go through these clothes so fast. It's not like me, I bought this shirt like 10 years ago and, I'm still wearing it. It's a little tight and it's a little shrunk, but, I'm still wearing it. No, these little kids, they're only going to wear it for maybe a week. And that's even if you remember to put them on. A lot of times our kids are in the little sleepers with the zippers throughout a big chunk of the day, actually. And, we do put on nice little outfits and stuff for pictures and when we go out and do stuff, if we can go out and do stuff. But, I mean, for the most part, there's so many clothes where I used to laugh at those people. I'm like, haha, you guys left the tags on still? That's pathetic. I'm never going to do that. I can't tell you how many clothes I went, oh my gosh, we still got the tags on these things. And they never wore them. And they were nice outfits. But it's just the reality of it. So those are my 2 saving tips. Thank you, Stacy with an I, for that question. I'm going to have to really blast through some of these now because that was a great question and I spent way too much time on it. Another one from Stacy with an I. I like her. How do you balance 3 babies if they all want to be held at once? So Lauren and I kind of sat down and really had this discussion before the kids were born. It basically setting up the expectation for them and for ourselves that we won't be able to give one-on-one time with them all the time. The kids were born together. They're going to have to learn to share together. It's just the reality. It's what most siblings go through. It's just that since, some are older and some are younger, they're just all the same size. And so balancing 3 babies at once, we make a mental note. We try our best to make a conscious decision of like, okay, I haven't held Charlotte in a while. Make sure I hold her. I haven't held Vincent in a while. I haven't held Sophia in a while. But the reality is that the squeaky wheel gets the oil, as they used to say. So Sophia likes to be held a lot more. Charlotte likes to be held too, but she's kind of not screaming as much if she's not being held. So she'll kind of go off and do her own thing. So naturally, you're kind of picking up Sophia a little bit more. Vincent kind of too. He's a little bit of a mix. But, you just have to kind of make a mental note that you're trying to give them as much care as they need. but you're never going to be able to give one kid 2,000% of your time. It's going to be divided, and there's times where I'll pick up one kid and the other kid wants to get picked up, and I can have the strength to pick up two kids. Weird flex, but okay. But I can't hold three, and you kind of have to set that almost expectations with the kids of like, hey, you got to wait your turn. I don't know what to tell you. You can scream all you want, but this one's screaming too, so we're just going to ride it out. Number 4. This one's from Julie. How do you manage to get a perfect picture of all the triplets on a Milestone blanket each month, or any picture in general? Photoshop. All right, question number 5. Okay, I'll go a little bit, just for the sake of you, Julie. I'll go a little longer. Basically, what we do is we take a bunch of pictures, and we try to get them all to smile. We try to get them all to look as best we can. But the reality is there's always going to be one that's not looking, one with their eyes closed, one screaming. It's just going to happen. So we take as many as possible, and then we basically Photoshop the best of each kid and kind of put that into one picture. I had a buddy of mine on a podcast, I was talking about it, and he gets really into like philosophical stuff. And he's like, do you think your kids are ever going to go up to you one day and say like, hey, Papa, was this moment real? Like, did this really happen? And it's like, no, it didn't happen. Just like nothing in the magazines are real. Everything is fake. Go do your homework. So that's the reality of it, is Photoshop. Now, there are some times where you kind of get that glorious image of all three of them perfectly smiling and happy, but it is hard. So the idea is take as many photos as possible and just kind of get the best faces of each, and then you just kind of go from there. So being very transparent about our Photoshop process. So thank you, Julie, for that question. This one's from Lauren. I've never heard of that name before. It sounds very interesting. From Lauren. Not my wife, though. Do you have things all figured out now? Or what types of advice do you still rely on for your parents or family for? Do we have everything all figured out? The thing I understand about kids from this level is anytime I feel like I do have it figured out, someone takes like a wrench and throws it right into everything, and the kids start freaking out, and there's like a new problem that arises. Like right now, the kids have been going to bed at 7 very easily and getting up at like 7, which is incredible, by the way. But I feel like there's going to be a point where that's not going to work anymore. So that's something that's like, you don't really get when you get that feeling of, oh, I got it all figured out, I solved the problems. New problems just occur. They just grow. Now, I will say the older these kids are getting, the better it is, the easier it is, the more fun it is. But it's still coming up with more and more problems and things that just come out naturally. I think it's all about growth. Relying on advice from parents and family. Mainly, I'll just ask, hey, when I was a kid, did I do this? Or when Lauren was a kid, did she do this? And they can kind of give us that. But in terms of advice, I really don't know. I think it just depends. It just depends on if there's a new problem. They'll go, yep, this is what we did. This is what we did. But I can't really give any specific examples. So I apologize for that. And that looks like that is all 5 of the questions. So, that's fantastic, guys. I really like these questions. I liked all of them. And I look forward to the next round of questions from these letters. And we're back.
Here we are.
We are back. We've answered the questions.
We've done it.
We've done it.
Count to 5.
Overall, you answered them a lot more quicker, shorter, much more concise. I feel like I was getting way too in the weeds. But
I think you got excited about like hacks. You heard like saving hacks, and you were just like, I have to say everything. And I was like, wow, Vince, you're still talking about
Yeah. You were like very quick, like, oh yeah, do a diaper party and Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, okay, listen, when you go to the store, you're gonna scan it, and then when you scan it, you're gonna go to Bobby, and Bobby's gonna be the back. You can say fish salad, you can say fish salad too, and then it turned a whole thing.
To be fair, people don't know that. There are people that don't know that, so that's a helpful tip.
Yeah, and maybe people seeing the photos going, oh wow, these guys must be Mr. La-di-das, and they're just spending all this money on stuff, and they're just banking it. It's like, no, we're just struggling to live.
We get stimulus check.
We get the stimmies.
We did not get a stimulus check.
We get the stimmies, and boy howdy did
And did we get a stimulus
dependents.
check?
I'm just glad that all 27 of my dependents were good to go. But you got to the point where you were so consistent and so quick that you actually forgot to answer a question.
I did. I feel so bad. So that was Noelle's question, and it kind of was like, I'm looking at the paper
It's
right
almost
now.
like a part two.
Yeah, well, so it says, the first question says, how often do the triplets poop simultaneously? And I just completely skipped the can you change 2 diapers at once? But to answer it right now, no. And if you find anybody that can, let me know. I would love to meet them because I have no idea how you would, because changing like a newborn is pretty easy. You're like scared at first, whatever. Changing a toddler is like wrestling an alligator because they do not want to get changed. They have no part of it, nothing. They're freaking out, going crazy. So if you could do 2 at once, I would love to see it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible with toddlers.
Yeah. Plus, it's, the difference too is that with a crocodile, you have a chance of dying. So you don't have to do it anymore. Whereas a
True.
kid, you're alive
You
still.
have to wait
so you
for
just gotta
potty
keep,
training.
You got to keep doing wait for potty training, which I'm not looking forward to.
I don't know.
Low key, like
Not the whole process, but the whole like not changing a diaper
yeah. Once we get over that, that'll be nice.
times 3.
Yeah. I mean, we just started paying for diapers, so I'm like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. But yeah, I feel like that's gonna be just chaos.
Yes. But I do want to mention,
We do have triplets. So
you
it's
read the
chaos.
question, back to question 1, you read poop and you didn't laugh. And, and
I know.
Honestly, I was very impressed that you didn't laugh when you said poop. I laughed immediately just because I'm 2 years old. But and then I didn't even mention about Charlotte pooping in the tub because it's happened to you
Yeah, it happens to me
every time.
Every time I do the bath, I'm like, okay, bath time, one-on-one time with the parent and the child.
Yeah.
It's great. And then she's just like, kablam.
And she just poops.
And she looks right at me and she goes, kablam. And
Every
I go,
time.
what?
It's so funny.
What is going on?
It's really not funny. It's horrible. But
It's disgusting.
I wrote that in my notes. Talk about Charlotte pooping in the tub.
There you go.
And I also want to say that I will make a point that you do change a lot of diapers. There are a lot of husbands out there that don't change diapers, and shame on you. Like, shame on you.
Shame.
It
Shame
is.
to your family. Shame to your household. Shame.
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 Shame on you, shame.
Oh, mister, I'm working 80 hours a week and I'm gone traveling. Shame. You need to travel back from Dallas.
No, okay, he gets a break, but no, but in all seriousness, he really does change a lot of I mean, I don't know if it's a half and half split because you do work. I am kind of with them most of the day.
Oh, yeah, you're still changing more.
But
I'm changing more than my forefathers have changed. I don't even think
by
they
a
looked at
lot.
their children as much as I've
Yeah.
looked at mine. And it's not just because I work remote. One little quick thing. So my father, apparently, my mom was telling me that when I was a baby,
Yeah.
my father didn't know how to change diapers. And when I made my little explosion, he just like took me in the shower, put my butt cheeks up
Classic.
to the shower sprayer and just sprayed it and just had it everywhere, and it was a whole mess and
Ew.
stuff. Yeah, he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know how to do anything. And he eventually did learn, I think.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, there's no way he's at my skill level. And he had 4 kids, just not all at once. So that's the key. You gotta have them
Yeah.
all at once. Then you're the pro.
Then you're a pro. You can wear a badge that
Then
says
you're
I'm a pro.
If not, shame. 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 I just like that.
That was very dramatic.
It really is.
Oh my goodness.
It really is. So now, one thing you mentioned, or I guess I'm just gonna throw it in here, is talking about kids want to be held at once.
Oh yeah.
One thing I forgot was that back when we did our last episode, they didn't know how to walk yet.
Right.
So that's it. It's like when they can walk, everybody, so much nicer. Because you don't
Yeah.
feel like you have to necessarily pick them up because they can walk to you and they can walk around and do stuff. When they were sitting and they couldn't physically move, that's the only way you could transport them, right?
Right.
Was to move them and to pick
it.
them up. You don't have to do that when they can walk. But it does come to that situation where you pick up a kid and they all just grab onto you like the Land of the Dead where the zombies and they do that, and you're just sitting there like, I can only hold one, or I can only hold two. I definitely can't hold three.
Yeah.
One thing that I do now is if we go into the we have a little kids play area and they're all playing whatever. If I go in there and I'm standing up and they're doing the classic like pull on your, they're pulling on you and crying and stuff, I just lay down and I just let them dogpile me. They have fun. They're just playing around, and I'm like, I just lay there or whatever, because trying to pick them all up and walk while they're pulling on you and crying and screaming and, whatever, I just can't handle it. So I go in there, I just lay down. I go, all right, I'm playing dead. You guys do what you want to do.
I feel like we're good now, too, at telling the difference between when they're crying because they're in pain and when they're crying because they just want your attention.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're crying because they want your attention, obviously. So if you kind of wait it out a second or two, they forget what they're doing and they, go find a toy that's more interesting than that.
Yeah.
And that's just when they're older. Now they can walk around, they can leave, they can come and go. So that's making things a little bit easier. But, yeah, that was tough when they were really small, trying to balance that. But once again, it's like a give and take. You have to kind of assess the situation. I know I had talked about that, and okay, who really needs me at this moment? Because if it's just you or it's just us two, that's what you have to do. As hard as it is, it's harder on us.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
And then with the photo shoot scenario, so I'm gonna preface this to everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but my occupation is in advertising, specifically in video and photo production.
Advertising.
You were in advertising. You were in more graphic design. You were creating more digital ads, and I create videos as well as do photography. Out of all of my video shoots and photo shoots, the ones of our children is the most stressful and terrifying.
You
of all
hate
of them.
it so much.
I
dread asking you to help me with a photo shoot.
And I dread just trying to do it. It's
almost you're harder to get than the kids.
I need to really start charging a higher quote for you, because this is too much. Like I'll travel everywhere. Yeah, we're gonna film this. We're gonna shoot this. Yeah, no problem. Hey, we're gonna film 3 screaming children that don't want to do anything that you want them to do at this moment. And when we do think we got it, my wife's gonna look at the phone and go, no, we got to do it again. And the kids don't want to do it again. And I don't want to do it again. And your poor mother, she don't want to do it again.
I know, but the milestone blankets are over. All that
milestone
stress
blankets
is gone.
are over.
I really thought about it when I was watching your individual recording. I was thinking about, I really don't Photoshop them as much anymore. No, that's not a wink wink. I used to be... It's really not. I honestly, okay, so I have a degree in graphic design, and they teach you to every detail matters. Everything must be perfect. We must all, the page, the layouts, everything has to be perfect, right? And so you have this mindset of having this perfect moment in your head, and then you start a blog, and you're like, everything has to be perfect. My kids have to all be smiling. They all have to, and you try so hard to get this perfect picture, and sometimes I sit there and I try to Photoshop pictures. I'm like, oh, this would be cool if this was here and this was it. And I'll look at it and I hate it, and I'll go back and I'll literally just go back to the original one, because it doesn't, I know it's not real, and I'm not trying to the only times I really, really Photoshop was for the milestone blanket, because I did want those I wanted them to at least be a little bit looking and happy in the pictures. Nowadays that we're not doing those anymore, I'll Photoshop I don't know, if they have a stain on their shirt, I'll quick Photoshop that out.
Yeah,
or if there's a weird piece of paper in the background, just weird things that I would annoy me. I really don't do any crazy stuff anymore. I'm trying to capture authentic moments with 3 kids. It's tough, but
and I'm just trying to live. So I tell her, I go, just Photoshop it. Just Photoshop
I'm trying to thrive.
Just Photoshop it. She's trying to do the authentic photos, and I'm just listen, we're gonna do it in post.
I'm gonna call it more retouching.
Retouching.
I'm gonna call it retouching.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna leave it at.
I prefer retouching over redoing. Because I don't want to redo.
No, you don't.
These photos.
You don't want to take. No, you don't want to start. So.
I don't want to start. It's so much, but it's fun. It's good, and it's funny too, because then you look at these photos, even especially the ones that are the more like, yeah, you know, like you said, the more authentic. They're just, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Which is it is a lot of your posts. So I like to joke around. But those are the ones, yeah. And you look at these photos and go, oh, that was so nice. And I totally forget the chaos behind the camera of
Right.
just trying to get these photos right.
Yeah.
So
that was number 4.
yeah, I thought they figured out one. I think it is a genuine question. I think it's a
really
good
tough
question.
to answer.
It's very
if we
tough
have
to
it-
answer.
If we have things figured out. I feel like I was talking in circles, which means I don't have things figured out. I think that
Yeah.
answers my question.
Well, and I said that basically whenever we have the feeling that we figured it out,
Yeah, I
a
said
new
the same
problem
thing.
comes up. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
That's
common.
literally
right
like-
now we feel like we're in a figured out stage.
Oh, yeah.
And we know that this ain't gonna last.
Which maybe that means we figured it out. We figured it out because we know we didn't figure it out.
Oh, here we go.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Whoa. We don't need to do this No, we're done with the podcast.
We're done.
Pack it up.
Are we real? Everything
don't
turns
know.
into a matrix. I don't know. Fantastic. And then
That was 5.
that was 5. So
I don't know. Do we
these
did we miss
these
something?
1 through 5. How'd you feel about these? Did you feel like these were pretty solid?
Yeah, I think there was a good mix of humor. We had the poop. Everybody thinks it's funny, except you. You don't laugh.
I thought it was funny. I was just focusing on like trying to think of a joke.
I know.
And I'm like, okay, poop. This is easy. It's a joke. And I'm like,
It's too easy. I don't know.
know.
All I deal with poop and Cocomelon, and that's about it. No, I'm just kidding. That's all I did.
that's all we get. I'm excited for the next 5.
Me too.
And I hope everybody else is excited for the next 5. Thanks again for these letters.
Yes.
Thanks again for all the comments, the messages,
Yep.
all this stuff. And I also wanted to mention in terms of asking for advice, shout out to all the moms that are on Instagram and the blogs and stuff. I mean, you've asked questions in there, and you've said repeatedly that you felt when you originally had triplets, you felt like you were completely alone, and as did I. Like we were the only people going through this. And once we were embraced into this world of parents of multiples, we immediately felt like everything's gonna be okay. We have a community here. We have people that we can ask questions to, and they can give us advice. And there's a lot of people, they'll give you advice, and maybe we don't necessarily use that advice, but at least we know, hey, it worked with their kid.
Right.
So maybe it might not work with ours, but we can try it and go through. It's been very, very awesome, and it's put my brain at ease from having these. I mean, when you were pregnant, we were learning about all these parents that are having triplets, and we're like, okay, they did it, and they didn't explode in fire.
Yeah, it's
We
possible.
can do it. And now that we have the kids, we can even reach out. So we
Right.
thank all of you as well. All the parents out there that have helped us, throughout this, had advice and just kind of build this up. So keep it up. And we're glad that you guys are excited for this podcast. We're glad that we're doing this podcast
Yeah.
again. And
I've had a lot of moms reach out to me saying, whether they're like pregnant with triplets or they just had triplets or they just found out, like literally just found out they're pregnant with triplets. And they reach out and they're just like, hey, I found your podcast. Like they direct message me. It's just a conversation between them. And, I found your podcast. It's so helpful. Like, and we just did like, that was the reason. Even if only one person like said that, I don't know the person, but if I could help one, you know what I mean? Because then I'm curious about how many other people that have listened that it helped, but they didn't really say anything. Because I feel like that's a normal thing to do.
yeah.
I mean, for someone to really reach out, it must have really like had an impact. So that really helped inspire me to get back into this, because it is it helps us and it helps them. So.
And I think that's just how we're going to end it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Well,
Good to be
until
back.
next time, look out for part 2.
Part 2.